Are you cutting garlic?
I I am. I do have garlic here.
Garlic is good. I
I
like the
thought I
flavor
would-
of garlic.
what did you say?
I really like the flavor of garlic.
Me too. So I'd like to show them this little gadget.
What is this?
This is to put your garlic cloves in and you can roll it back and forth. You know how sometimes these small cloves
Yeah,
are
these
the
get
peel
stuck.
off? Yeah, that takes the peel right off.
This is something I should buy. I get stuck with this every time.
Yeah, it's such a little easy gadget. Not very expensive either. I got it with this. This is the little plate that I got and it has a rough surface on it. Have you ever seen these?
No, I have not. What is this for?
So you can kind of grate your garlic on it or your ginger. So
Oh, this is some
also
good stuff.
nutritive then too.
Yeah, I should buy one of those.
Well, I got them together in a pack. I think they were made handmade in Spain. Hey, Gordon,
Mm,
you made it. You got here.
I got here.
All right. Good to see you again.
I'm excited.
Are you excited?
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much.
Oh, I love it. Oh. Hi, Joy. Look at that cutie pie on your picture.
Hi,
Who's that I'm seeing?
that's my grand dog.
Grand dog. Oh, sweet face. Hi, Maria. Maria, I think you're you might be, are you new to me? I'm thinking that maybe I don't recognize your name, but gosh, I can't rely on my memory, that's for sure. Hi, Beth. I'm much better with faces than I am with names. Here's Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne. Welcome back.
Hi.
Well, I guess soup making is okay, so you're back for beans.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
I love beans. And I love bean salad. So
Okay, good. Well, I have a few good ones. I'm making one today in the kitchen, but I'm sharing several. So
okay, good.
yeah.
Yeah, I like to do bean and pasta salad. I make a salad with rotini pasta, garbanzo beans, and then lots of veggies with oil and vinegar, and it's good. Yeah, really is tasty.
Sounds perfect too. Just a nice hearty all in one meal.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, or you can use it. I've taken it to a lot of potlucks and that kind of thing too. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Hey, Kathy's back too.
Yeah, Kathy's here with me.
Oh, Kathy's here with you?
Yes,
Yeah, Kathy has a story.
Okay, Kathy has a story. All right, well, let's hear Kathy's story while people are still coming in. What's your story?
Well, I just got a new mandolin and I broke a string on it. And so I'm here at Suzanne's so I can attend the class, and then I'm going to head into town to get a new string for my new mandolin.
Well, I'm glad. That's kind of fun, right?
So,
Are you in separate rooms? Because you're not, I had a little bit of feedback.
what is
but
she
not
saying?
much.
I can't hear you.
Are you in separate?
Oh, I know why I can't hear you, because we're in the same room.
Oh, so you're keeping muted. That's good.
Yeah.
That's perfect. If you're in the same
second.
room, definitely keep one or the other of you muted, or we'll get yeah, you get feedback.
Yeah.
So there's Mary Beth, hello, and Beth Cook, and Martha is
So how are
back.
we going to do that? I should have brought my.
Isn't a mandolin one of those things that cuts stuff thin?
Yeah, that's funny that you say that.
I wondered why she was breaking strings on her mandolin.
I heard the same thing. I was just looking for my. I was going to pull that out. What the heck happened on the other one? Oh, wow. Wow, that's a good way to amputate a toe. No, it wasn't the blade portion. Yeah, so one of
That's
these,
a mandolin.
yeah, mandolin,
This does not make music.
not the same.
But it's pronounced,
This makes music of a different kind, right?
so they're pronounced the same.
Well, welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming again. And is there anyone who's brand new today? Or brand new to any of my classes today? Okay. So we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. Thanks for coming on camera, Mary Beth. Appreciate that. Let's see, share screen.
Bean salad.
Do you see the bean salad with pizzazz?
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Got it? Okay, beautiful. So this is the one we're going to make today, actually. So it'll be fun.
Are we going to get
You are going to get recipes. Yep, absolutely. So if there's anyone here who hasn't been to any of my classes, I'm going to ask again, is anybody new to my class? Are you raising your hand, Mary Beth? Okay. Okay, well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Your hand went up past the camera. I couldn't quite tell whether you were adjusting a light or raising your hand. So, hey, welcome. Are you new to Get Set Up?
I am not, no.
Okay, all right. So my name's Deb Livingston. I live on the East Coast in York, Pennsylvania, and my background is in training and development for industry. So I did all that businessy stuff all my career and did leadership coaching. And now I have a lot of fun doing this with things I love, like organic gardening and cooking and using all those great things out of my garden. Here's one of them today. It's early in the season yet here, but my mint is extraordinary. Although I did notice the little buggies starting to get at it. I'm going to have to go after it. So it's beautiful right now. And so I really enjoy this, and I enjoy it so much because I think that it's a platform where we all learn together. I bring some ideas to the table, but you all bring lots of ideas, lots of recipes, and I'm always learning something by the time I get off of a class. And that's great. And that's the way it should be, always lifelong learning. So we are going to record this class, and I was just double checking to make sure we are on record. I think so. And you can request that recording at help@getsetup.io. And while I'm at it, I'm going to introduce you to Joe. Joe's here to monitor the chat box, and he's probably going to put that help@getsetup.io email address in the chat box so that you have it to refer back to and know how to spell it. So we are also on live stream today. Have any of you taken advantage of the live stream when you can't be on camera? All right. So if you're on, so you've tried it, do you like it, Mary Beth? And do you like it, like when do you most use it? When you're doing something else or multitasking?
No, I usually use it when the class is full
Oh,
because
okay.
they're usually the popular classes. So then I'll go watch the live stream instead.
Okay, so there's a good use or good reason to use live stream. So that's available to you. And there are folks out there that may be on live stream right now. So I just want to say hi to all of you and invite you to come and attend the class too. So we are not paid to promote any specific items. I often will show you products, like I'll show you this little handy dandy thing. I didn't get this for free or anything like that. So there's no financial relationship with any businesses that we may talk about. And these are the three things on my agenda today. Serving bean salads is the first thing I want to talk about because, you know, I was raised on, maybe you have been too, something called a 3-bean salad. You familiar with that? The kind that you took to the picnic and you kind of ate it as a side next to your hamburger or your hot dog. And
Yep.
so now we've got all kinds of other types of bean salads, and we can eat them in different ways for different courses. So we might talk about that a little bit and use our imagination. And then I'm going to introduce you to the beans that are featured in the recipes that I'm going to share. So somebody was saying, are we going to get the recipes? Absolutely. At the end of the class, you're going to get an email from me that has, as you do with any class, get an email at the end. It has some suggested further classes, but most importantly, in this case, is that you're going to get all the recipes. So it's, in this case, a PDF file, I believe. There's one PDF, which means it's an attachment, and then there's one link. So I had a bean salad with mango that I used initially that I liked, but I found another one I liked better. So I called that bean salad with mango take 2. And I enjoy that one, and you might give that one a try as well. So is there one particular thing that you would really like to get out of this class today? And go ahead and unmute yourself and let me know if there's something that you would like to really know about bean salads.
Deb, I'm trying to avoid salt.
Okay.
And if I drain it and rinse it, how much salt do I lose?
Well, you lose a good bit of it, but not all of it.
You're
So,
not all.
you know, the one thing that you can do is what I did, which was to take, I know it's kind of a pain, but you can soak and cook your own beans. So if you put them on dried beans, if you soak them the night before and then cook them the following day, either on the stove or in a pressure cooker, you're going to have no salt in there.
Okay.
So that's one way to go. And I can tell you that an easy way to make that less work, it seems like a lot of work because it's a new part of the routine, perhaps. You can also cook them on the stove, you can cook them in a pressure cooker. But I always cook extra, and then I measure them out. So this bean salad recipe calls for 3 cans of different kinds of beans. So I cooked my own dry beans, and then I measured the remainder out, and I bagged them in freezer bags in quantities of a cup and a half, which is the same amount that's found in a can, or roughly the same amount. Cup and a half to 1 can of beans. Okay. So they freeze really nicely. These are thawed from this morning. I got them out, and they will work just fine. What else? Just looking for some recipes? Okay. So tell me, I mentioned the 3 bean salad. And I think Suzanne, you were talking about the garbanzo bean pasta salad that you make. So let's talk a little bit about the bean salads that you currently do eat. So why don't we start with you, Suzanne? I'm not sure anybody else I don't know how many people were on at that point when we were talking. Can you share your recipe? Or
Sure, I use a can of garbanzos, which I drain and rinse. I cook 2 cups of rotini pasta. You could use any kind of pasta you wanted to, I guess. Then I chop usually red onion. I chop carrot. I use fresh carrot that I dice in small pieces. And then let's see, a can of garbanzo beans. I add a little bit of feta cheese. I use sliced ripe olives. I don't mix tomatoes in with it because the tomatoes tend to juice and they make it kind of sloppy. So if I'm going to serve it and I want tomatoes mixed in, I cut them fresh and put them on top. And then I also add those little mini cucumbers, the little English cucumbers. I cut those and cut those in chunks, and I add cucumber to it. And then I pour olive oil with a little bit of, I use like golden balsamic vinegar and a little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper as a dressing. And I don't measure those quantities, but I do find that if I put all the vegetables in the bowl, I get everything cut up, put it in the bowl, cook the pasta, drain the pasta, put the pasta in, and then put the dressing on when the pasta's still hot. It feels to me like the pasta absorbs more of the dressing that way. So, and then I like to serve it at room temperature. I think it has more flavor if it's at room temperature. So that's basically it.
that sounds delicious. Everybody get that?
It's very good.
Okay. Who else has a recipe? Or something that you make now? You might not even have a recipe. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kathy.
I like the Texas caviar. And that's basically corn, garbanzo beans, black eyed peas, and what was the third one?
Black beans?
Black beans.
Okay.
And then red onion, What else do we put in it?
Cilantro.
Cilantro, oil and vinegar, red wine vinegar, avocado, you can put that in at the last minute. Bell peppers, all the different colors of bell peppers.
Mention that in mine.
And I think that was it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's really good. You can use it as a salad or you can use it as a scoopy thing with your tortilla chips.
That sounds delicious, and it sounds similar to the one we're going to look at today. There are some differences, but sounds very similar in some of the flavors that are in there. Okay, anyone else?
Oh.
And if you are, go ahead and chat amongst yourself in the chat box if you want to share that information, or if you want to have more details about any of these salads. And Martha, your hand is up.
Is scoopy thing a technical term? No.
I think it's in the dictionary.
Okay. My husband doesn't like our garbanzo beans. Is there a similar substitute or doesn't really matter?
Yeah, let's see. So garbanzo beans, any bean probably would work out. I guess it's like caviar because it's got some roundness to the beans, but other than that, it probably doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, okay. All right, so let's move forward. So you've already suggested a couple of ways to serve a bean salad. Let's break out of the mold a little bit, that side salad next to the hamburger, to talk about how you would serve a bean salad. And I think somebody already mentioned, what was it called? The scoopy things?
Yeah.
So what do you do? What scoopy do you serve? I'm going to try to mute that there. Maria, I'm just muting you for right now. If you have a question or a comment, just go ahead and unmute yourself. There was some kind of ringing going on there. Okay, so.
Excuse me, Zeb. Actually, I lost my co-host. Can you give it back to me?
Sure.
I was trying to actually mute.
There you go. Let's see. Hold on one second.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. So I think my slide went ahead on its own here, and mix ahead maybe 2 hours to make sure all the flavors meld, and then serve it cold, or as Suzanne was saying, serve it at room temperature, because you really get the flavors that way. They're not muted by the coldness of the refrigerator. You can serve it as a meal. Now, how would you serve a bean salad as a meal?
You could add chicken or some kind of meat to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could serve it over top. You could serve it over top of any of those things as well. You could serve it on top of a tossed salad.
Mhm.
And bean salads typically keep, is it your experience, they typically keep for about a week in the refrigerator? Depends on the salad. That be about right? By the end of the week, they're probably a little less. If you're not too picky, I'm not all that picky. They taste fine. They don't necessarily look as good as they did in the beginning. So serving them with tortilla chips can be nice, especially if you have beans that are smaller, or you chop the pieces finer, the veggie pieces a little finer. You could do that, especially with that black bean and mango salad. The first one, not the take two, but the other one, you can dress that up a little, chop it finer, and serve it as a salsa kind of thing, which is really what these are in ways they can be used as a salsa. So here are the beans that we're going to have in the featured beans in the recipes for today. And I'm not expecting you to read all of this, but I just simply wanted you to have a glance at what the nutritional value is in each of these beans. So you can see that across the board, you will see as we go through here that beans are generally very high in vitamin B, especially folate. They're high in protein. They are high in fiber, which is a good thing. It's a little harder to get those 25 grams of fiber than we might like. They also have what is called resistant starch, and that's something that's been kind of a buzz term lately. I've heard it more now than I ever have. And it's just a very slow to break down starch that's found in beans that helps us to keep our blood sugar regulated. So they take a while to digest and they don't cause sugar spikes. And you can expect that if you eat 2 to 3 cups of beans a week, you might be able to really moderate your blood sugar and also lose some weight eating just some more beans. It does tend to reduce inflammation as well. It's that kind of a food. So there are many good things, and you can just see the relative difference between these beans. It's not too great. So sometimes people say, well, what is the one bean I should be eating? You know, what's the best bean? I wouldn't say go to that trouble. I would say just eat a variety of beans. They're really not all that different. You can see some of them vary, but let's take a look here. You know, these are the cannellini beans that are the white counterpart to the red kidney beans. Some have fewer calories, some have more, but the fiber is a real winner. 15 grams of fiber and more or less. That's pretty good for a cup of beans. Now, it's hard to eat a cup of beans at a setting. You might be thinking about more like a half cup, considering that you're eating other things with it. So black-eyed peas are another one that we've got in here that you mentioned as part of the caviar salad, right? Okay. How many of you use sun-dried tomatoes? Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Do you use sun-dried tomatoes, or do you use them in oil?
Oil.
Yeah, I like the oil packed as well.
Yeah, me too. Although they're nice, if you don't want the oil, you can soak them in water and they come back and they are reconstituted. They're very condensed. So sun-dried tomatoes don't give you the same flavor as a fresh tomato. They give you a much more maybe tomato pasty taste. They're very, very flavorful and very intense. So in this particular recipe, you're going to use sun-dried tomatoes in oil because you're going to use the oil, which is olive oil, as part of the dressing. So let's take a look at that one. I love this salad, and it's one that I made years ago, and I was happy to revise or reprise it. That's the word. I was happy to reprise it. I tend to move on and just keep trying new recipes, but I was looking through bean salad recipes and this one popped up. So you're using, and I want to say that this is a recipe that makes, I'm looking for how many servings. It makes a good many. So don't 14 servings. So don't hesitate to cut this recipe in half. Even if you get an 8-ounce jar of sun-dried tomatoes and you're not using them all, they keep for a long time in the refrigerator, right? Right, Suzanne and Martha, you keep your sun-dried tomatoes for a good long time. And this also has some really great herbs. So when you're talking about keeping your salt content down, using a lot of herbs will help to give you the flavor without the sodium. So we're looking at parsley and basil here, and then 4 different kinds of beans. Now don't worry, I'm going to send you this recipe, so you don't have to write it all down. It's a can of red kidney, a can of white kidney, or the cannellinis, the black beans, and black-eyed peas. And again, Martha, to your point, you want to rinse those beans really well to get that sodium off. And then we're using sliced onion here. Usually in salads, we're looking at diced onion or chopped onion. We're using thinly sliced red onion. Now, when I make it, honestly, red onion doesn't necessarily sit all that well with me. I kind of like a sweet onion. So feel free to use the kind of onion that you like. And then the dressing is simply red wine vinegar, a little sugar. I use something that is called Better Than Sugar. It's a sugar replacement. It's made with sugar alcohol called erythritol and stevia. Both are 0-calorie sweeteners. Stevia is an herb and erythritol is a natural sugar alcohol. So I use that instead of sugar because I'm not interested in adding more sugar to my diet. And then salt and some dry mustard and a little ground pepper, and that's it. And all you're doing is you're going to drain those sun-dried tomatoes and keep a 1/4 cup of that oil. That's what goes into the rest of those the rest of the dressing ingredients, or I should say the rest of the dressing ingredients go into it. So if there's extra, put it back in the jar, and then put your chopped tomatoes, once they've been drained, into the bowl and add all the other ingredients in there, and then make your dressing with the vinegar and the other ingredients. Whisk it up, it gets a little bit viscous, and drizzle it over the bean mixture and just toss it and cover it, let it chill, let it mingle for a couple of hours. So it's a very nice and a little bit different kind of bean recipe, at least bean salad recipe in my mind. I love this. Thoughts about this recipe? What do you think? Would you try it? Think so?
Definitely.
Okay, looks appealing. Okay,
It does. Tasty.
okay. And I'm just looking in the chat there, just seeing that you have your caviar in there, Texas caviar. Thank you for posting that. All right, so let's go on to this Mediterranean bean salad. That's the one I'm going to make today so that you can see it now. One thing I forgot to get out today, my bowl. So I love these stainless steel bowls for making salad. And I'm going to stop my share so that you can see more of what I'm doing. Can you see me now better? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to get to my recipe here to refer to. All right.
Deb, I have a quick question.
Sure. Donna.
If you don't have the fresh herbs and you're using dried, what's the measurement of dried versus fresh?
It's 1 to 3. So 1 teaspoon of dry for 3 teaspoons of fresh, or 1 tablespoon dry for 3 tablespoons fresh. Wait, I
Okay.
said that. Yeah. Yes, that's correct. 1 to 3.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So this is easy, and it starts with the can of kidney beans. This is 1 can's worth, or for me, this was my dried beans cooked up. So I'm putting those in. They're sticking a little to the bottom of the bowl. And then the same thing, a can or a 1.5 cups of garbanzo beans, adding those in there. And a can or 1.5 cups of the white cannellini beans. And so they are in there. So now we've got our beans. It's going to mix them around a little bit. And the one thing I found interesting about my beans, I brine them, which is a way to get consistent cooking without the skin splitting. Sometimes if you do not soak your beans beforehand, you get mixed results in a pressure cooker or even on the stove. I read on lots of different methods for soaking beans, and brining seems to be one that has a lot of success. However, brining can also really soften your skins, breaking down the pectin in the skins. And so when I put them in my pressure canner or pressure cooker, it did not take long at all for them to get soft. And in the case of these particular beans, they got a little softer than I wanted them. But you don't have to eat it, I do, so it's okay with me. It works fine. And just a thought that if you are going to do this, maybe brining when you're going to use your pressure cooker is not what you want to do. And I found that I didn't need to follow the instructions on the pressure cooker directions. I needed less time. So just a thought about that. You might need to experiment whether you have an instant pot or you have what like I have, which is an old on the stove kind of pressure canner cooker, which by the way, they're not interchangeable, which I learned when I bought a pressure side story. I bought a pressure cooker, and the kitchen company that sold it to me told me that it would be multi-purpose, that I could use it as a canner as well as a cooker. And I found out afterward that that was not the case because it was not large enough. So if you ever do decide to buy, well, now there's instant pots, but you've got to be careful because just because something is a pressure cooker doesn't mean it's a pressure canner. Volume matters. And Martha, I see your hand is raised. Or did you just have it up there from last time? Okay, that's fine. No worries. All right, so we're then going to add green pepper. So this is 1 green pepper. Obviously, if you have larger green peppers, so what? You have more veggies in your salad. That's okay. My peppers this time weren't overly large. Sometimes they are. And then 1 red pepper. So we're getting a nice colorful salad here so far. Beautiful. And then a half of an English cucumber. So what is the difference between an English cucumber and a regular cucumber? Who knows?
No seeds. No seeds.
Yep, very tiny seeds. Anything else?
They're healthier for you.
Well, they can be. So they are not waxed. So you can eat the skin on them. They are oftentimes sweeter. Sometimes regular cucumbers, if they're especially stressed in the summertime, I know this from my own, they can get a bitter taste. So if you really want to be sure and have a sweet cucumber, you can get yourself an English cucumber and know that you're going to have sweetness in there and not have to remove the seeds. So now we've done that, and now we're adding the onion. And I didn't pay attention to my own rule. I was down here preparing and trying to get ready on time, and I chopped my onion instead of sliced it. Oh no, that's the other recipe. This one is chopped. Getting confused. So I put my onion in here. There's a cup of chopped onion in here. Here's how it's coming along. Looks pretty nice. And now the nice thing here, this is similar to adding, Suzanne, the olives that you add to your recipe. I'm going to add capers here. So how many of you use capers in recipes? Okay, some of you do, some of you don't. I buy mine at Costco now because they're a lot less expensive and they keep in the jar in the refrigerator for a long time. Capers are little berries, and they're very tart and flavorful. They add a lot of salty tartness to something. And that's what they're going to do in this salad. And it calls for 1.5 tablespoons. Honestly, you could probably do more if you like that flavor. And so they are a berry that's been brined. That's what a caper is. So I'm putting those on. And then I'm going to add a cup of chopped fresh parsley. So lots of herbs here. This isn't just a tablespoon or 2. This is a lot. So we're doing that. And then we're going to, if you give me some time, I'm going to do something here with my mint, because this now calls for 10 to 15 fresh mint leaves, sliced or gently chopped, or you can just tear them. And I'm going to make sure that I use a good many of them. And I wanted to do this because I wanted to see if anybody else does what I do. I tend to take my leaves like this, especially ones of similar size. So let me do the biggest ones. And I roll them up like a cigar. Anybody else do that? Roll them in a cigar shape like this.
Yes.
And then chop them.
You get the little ribbons.
Yes, you get the little ribbons. Now, what I'll probably do is I'm going to cut it down the middle so they're not quite as long. It's just a faster way, but you really could go ahead and tear these up too. I just find it easier to cut them. Okay, so got that to put in there. I love mint in salads. Anybody else put mint in their salads? It's delicious. In fact, I'm finding all sorts of ways to use mint. I guess because I have so much of it. You know, it's like a crazy thing out in your garden. It doesn't give up. It just spreads everywhere. So you have to fight back.
How did
Yeah.
you cut too much? How did you cut so much parsley?
How did I?
Yeah,
Oh, I just
the same thing?
yeah, well, I just took the bunch. I left it bunched because I
Okay,
buy this at the store. And then I just took my knife down through and I don't mind having some of the stem. I cut it down until
Okay.
it has the stem. So now I have some of this basil. This basil I was so happy to find because right now it hasn't been as easy in the grocery store to find it, and it's so expensive, isn't it? If you go in and try to find it, sometimes it's $3 or $4 for a little pack of it, not even live like this, and it doesn't last. So when I have it in the summertime, I have so much basil, I don't even know what to do with all of it. And I lament because I know that come winter, I'm going to have no basil, and it's going to cost me an arm and a leg every time I want to use it. So I'm going to, do you get this kind of basil at your store where you can grow it, where it comes in a bag and it's grown high? I guess it's grown indoors, and then they give it to you in a bag, cellophane bag, and then you can keep it for a certain amount of time. I've never been really successful with, I've never been very successful with being able to propagate it from there, have it actually keep growing large. Has anybody been able to do that? I haven't tried really hard, but has anybody done that?
I just forget to water mine.
Yeah. You're supposed to water them from the bottom, so that's something.
I've got something called an arrow garden.
Yes. How does that work for you?
That works.
It works. So how do you do your basil then?
Well, they come in a plug with the seeds are inside a plug, and you put that in the setup, and then it starts growing, and you just kind of snip it off as you need it.
So it keeps going for you all year round?
Well, I haven't had it that long. I've only had it for a couple months.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I would dearly love, I'm going to work on it whenever I have a free minute, but I'd really like to see if I could grow it inside year round. That would be nice.
Yeah, that was my intent, was to take
That was
it,
your
repot
intention.
it.
Yeah,
How many leaves did you put in there? How many basil leaves?
that again is 10 to 15 leaves. So just guesstimate, because some leaves are bigger than others. But if you like a lot of herbs, don't skimp. So how's this looking? It's getting better all the time, right? It's beautiful, right? All this color, I love it. So now I'm going to make this dressing. And I wanted to just show you, I didn't chop my garlic because I wanted to show you this little gadget that I have. I think I did show it to you earlier. Anybody have one of these? Did somebody shake their head? Mary Beth, you have one? You want to unmute yourself?
I don't, but I had purchased one for my son and he said he loves it.
It's such a simple little thing. I got
Yes.
it at a craft show. It was like a combination. Can you see this little plate here? It even came with a little plate holder.
Oh,
And
wow.
it has a rough surface for grating ginger and grating garlic and grating your finger if you don't watch out. But it's really pretty. It's decorative. You can sit it on your counter. And this came with it. Now you can buy these separately. I can't think that they're very much money. But what they're good for is taking care of these little cloves of garlic. So, you know, when you're trying to take the shell off of a garlic clove, sometimes it really is just such a pain. Yeah. And they're small and then they're harder. And so this little thing, you just take these and slide the cloves down in. I'm going to throw another one in here. This calls for 1 to 2 garlic cloves. Honestly, they're so small, I'm using more. So now I'm just going to roll this. See if you can. So I'm just rolling this back and forth. Voila, naked garlic. Now I can easily chop the garlic. And what am I, okay, so I have to ask you, Suzanne, not that this is a test or anything, but what am I using? What am I using this, these garlic shells for?
Oh, probably for soup?
Yes, I can keep these garlic shells and put them right in my bag for soup stock. Exactly right. Never knew that you could use the shells, right?
No, I never thought of it. I never did. I always just throw them away.
Yeah. So I'm kind of I like to use everything. I'm a little conservative that way. And so it just does my heart good to be able to keep anything like that and not throw it away, use it for something else. And then when I go to the grocery store and I see how much they charge for some vegetable broth, I think they just made that out of onion shells and the ends of carrots and they're charging me $2 or $3 for this little carton of
Right.
So here we go. All right, so I've got this. Do you have a chef knife?
Yes.
Changed my life. I've had one for years now, but changed my life when I got it. And this one has a really nice rocking feature, which is important. Some of them are just straight back and you don't get a lot of rocking with it. So that's a feature. All right, so I'm now going to make the dressing. So the dressing calls for the garlic and a half tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Now I don't have a half tablespoon measure. I'm saying this is close enough. I'm going to fill this eyeball a half tablespoon here. And then 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, which I've already measured out. So I'm going to try to rinse some of the mustard off of my spoon. Okay. And a teaspoon of sugar. I mentioned that I use this better than sugar. I'm going to put that in. And that's it's a little finer than, not actually going to put so much in. It's a little finer than regular granulated sugar. And then a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And do you have a favorite brand of olive oil that you like? This is my favorite right now, my current favorite. California.
I bought that. Actually, the olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil from Costco is pretty good.
Is it?
Kirkland.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good to know.
And Pompeian, surprisingly.
Oh, okay. All right, so, and then a little salt. I use Himalayan pink salt. And I'm going to put a couple grinds of pepper in there and then grab my whisk and whisk around. You can see it's really not a lot of dressing. You don't have to overdress these salads.
Jesus, have I?
She's laughing. I hear some laughter going on there, which is love.
I'm not muted.
So when you're whisking this, you're going to whisk it, and as you whisk it harder, it starts to emulsify. The other option would be to put it in a jar and just shake it, because you want it to get it. The olive oil thickens it a little, and that's nice. It coats the bean salad. Okay, I think we're ready. So there's our dressing. I'm gonna have to be careful how much I tilt it because it gets poured out over my keyboard. Oh, it even looks better. It even looks better with the dressing on because it starts to really glisten. And it smells wonderful. You know, I've been making these bean salads for the last few weeks. It's just my husband and I. So you might know that my closest friends have all been getting a lot of bean salad. And they're happy. They like it. But I think even they may be getting beans, you know, having enough of bean salad. So I'm going to taste it now. Because we always have to do that. Anybody hungry? Want to bite? And now I'm going to tell you a secret. Wait, let me try one more bite here. Make sure I'm accurate in what I say. I would probably need to put more salt in this for myself, but I would salt it. Depends. I'd probably salt it at the table. Here's what I did. I realized that I didn't have parsley. What I thought I had in the refrigerator was cilantro. So I've already made this with parsley. So I know that's really good. I thought, well, this would be good for this class because I can try the cilantro live. You wouldn't know the difference if I didn't tell you. And how would it taste? I like it just as well. So it changes the flavor up. My ESL student, who's the beneficiary, you know, she teaches, she's from Honduras, eats everything with cilantro. She's a beneficiary of these bean salads a lot. She's gonna like this better because it has her favorite herb in it. So there you go. That's the Mediterranean, well, sort of Mediterranean bean salad with cilantro instead of parsley. Thoughts about that one? Is that think you'd try it?
Yeah, but I thought you said you put feta cheese in it.
You could. I wouldn't put any feta cheese in any of the salads until I was serving them, just because that makes so many. But that would be delicious with feta for sure.
And that would take the place of the salt too, I would think.
Yes, and you could also add more of those capers, but you are adding sodium in there. So, but you're right, adding feta in there, I probably wouldn't need any additional salt. And really,
You said you wouldn't add feta because why?
Well, I just would, in these recipes, because they make such a large quantity, I would add it at the end when I serve it instead of mixing it in, just because as it sits through the week, if it's in the refrigerator, it might start to get cloudy and break down. That's it. That's all. Just
okay, I've not ever had that experience with mine, but
so it just depends on what if you're using those crumbles. So I think it depends on the texture of the feta. So I bought a block of feta that I have brining, and that's going to break down a little bit more depending on how soft it is. Yeah. So that would depend. Okay. Other thoughts about that salad or the other one? Okay, I'm going to share my screen again then, since I'm not going to be cooking there or making the next one, but I do want to show you some other things about this next recipe. So this is the mango and the mango black bean salad. Can you now see that slide again? Okay, good. And let's go into the recipe. Who cooks with mangoes or uses mangoes? Anybody? Oh, well then I've got to show you something. All right, so here we are. This is what the salad consists of. It consists of 2 or 3 mangoes chopped. These smaller Altolfo, I never have seen them named that. I guess it depends on what region you're from, but they're a smaller yellow mango. supposedly sweeter you can use, but it doesn't matter. You can use 2 medium other mangoes, whatever you have. A large tomato that's chopped, a large bell pepper, and you can use the color, whatever, pick the color that you like. And then a cup of corn that's either cooked or frozen and thawed, and a can of black beans, or a cup and a half or 2 cups of black beans, and a half cup of cilantro, some red onion. This time you're mincing the red onion. And then your dressing is made from the olive oil, lime juice, a little cumin, and some salt and pepper. And it looks like this. And it's a delicious recipe. And one of the things I wanted to show you was how to manage a mango, because that can be kind of a pain. So if you're not familiar, let me get a link here. Did you know that mangoes have cheeks? Wow, you're about to see a mango cheek. Now, excuse if there's any crazy noises that come out of here. I hope there's no commercials. So that's a cheek. There you go. It's as simple as that. And then you can always slice down the side. The pit runs broadwise across the mango. So those 2 end slices you can carve out and skin and use as well. So yes, those 2 big fat pieces were called the cheeks of the mango.
That's a good name.
Yeah, you like that? I thought so too. I'm trying to get there we go. So that brings us to the end of the sessions on bean salads today. You're going to get 4 recipes. 2 of them are mango bean salads. Mango bean salad take 2 is the one that I just showed you. The other one has fewer ingredients in it. Okay. And I thought that it could use a little, well, you may like it just the way it is. If I were to serve it again, it's been a while since I had made it. And when I made it again, I thought, oh, my tastes have changed a little bit. I would probably want this a little zippier. So you might taste it and just amp yours up as well too. So what's your best takeaway today?
Yeah. I've always wanted to, I've never used mango before, so I'm definitely going to try that now.
Mango and black bean and onion and cilantro, those 4 ingredients together with whatever else, and lime, with whatever else you put in there. I think it's just so good. Mango is wonderful fruit. Yeah.
And really using the bean salad is really a main dish.
Yeah, you like that idea, just having that for supper. And you can serve that with a light, you can even have a light, like from our last class, just a cup of broth to go along with that. And it would make a perfectly fine dinner.
So I just think anything with beans is really healthy, because beans have a lot of fiber and they're low in fat and they're high in protein. So like the more beans we can eat, I think the healthier we are.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, we get those 2 to 3 cups per weekend, and we're kind of golden with our health requirements. Does help us get that fiber in there. That is definitely hard to get sometimes, as well as some of those other things that you mentioned. Yeah. How about you, Garnetta? What are you thinking up there?
I'm thinking about the salad that you made. I'm curious of trying to do that one.
Okay, don't forget it makes a lot. So if you don't like quite so much, then go ahead and have the recipe. And you can, even if you use canned beans, you can freeze those as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah, because every time I try to sample something, I always use half the recipe just in case if I don't like it.
Yeah.
So it's not, no
Well-
files, you know, so I always try to break it down if I can.
Smart idea. Yep, because I've done that already where I've made a full recipe and then thought, well, that's not really anything I'm too crazy about. So
Yeah, because I just really started doing a lot of bean salads in 2018. I had ran to go get my recipe and you were on another subject, but this was just black beans and it was black beans and sweet corn. And they call it a salsa instead of a salad.
Mhm.
But, you know,
Oh, so does that have so it's black beans and corn, and then what do you put a dressing on that, or are there any
Yeah.
other vegetables in there?
yeah, it's a red bell pepper, some green onions, and the dressing is this Marconian rice vinegar
Mm,
and olive oil, lime juice, cumin, salt, and pepper.
okay, that sounds very
Oh,
good.
it's very good, very good.
And the
And this is and they have their own recipes. Marukan. I probably wasn't pronouncing it right, but Marukan.
okay, MUK. Can you put that in the chat? Would you mind, just for anybody else who might like to write that down and
Yeah.
have a pen when you said it? Okay, so I'm coming up with another class. Well, at 5:30, I'm doing a class on quinoa, in case anybody wants to go 3 today. And tomorrow I'll be doing more on the Mother's Day Make Ahead brunch menu and great spring meals in 30 minutes. So those are some of my other classes. And you are going to get all these recipes after class. So go ahead and take a look and make sure you got those and let us know if you did not and help it get set up. And give us some feedback. View our schedule, sign up for more classes, and you can always share this particular class from that email with a friend if you like. And you can invite a friend to another class as well. Invite a friend when you register for the next class that you register for. So here we have Kathy and Martha. I don't know if one invited the other or you just showed up together because you talk about this, but.
Oh, Dawn's my friend from a few miles away.
It's nice that you could get together and do this.
Oh, I didn't know she was coming, so we're not the ones that were together.
Oh yeah, no, it was Kathy and
Suzanne.
Kathy, yes, and then, but Martha, you and
Dawn.
Where'd Dawn go? Oh, there she is on the other. Oh, good, that's great. So invite a few more folks and bring your neighborhood or something.
I've recently come across a source for beans, dried beans.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a place called Rancho Gordo. And they're in Napa, California. And they grow heirloom beans and many beans that are no longer grown commercially.
Oh,
So
good.
you can get, for instance, this package here these are called black caviar lentils. And I don't know if you can see in the package, they're just teeny tiny little lentils.
Yes, yes.
So they have a lot of varieties of beans that you just wouldn't see anyplace else. So
Very nice. Rancho Gordo. Let's put that into the chat too.
okay, Rancho Gordo.
Perfect. Are you putting it in or you want me to?
Yeah, so I can do it.
Okay, great. Thank you for doing that. You know, it's funny that you say that, Suzanne, because I was just reading up on some things today about beans, and I saw in the comments that very thing that people ask whether, do you buy Rancho Gordo? Do you splurge and spend the money on Rancho Gordo? And they say, yes, they're so good. And there's things you can find there that no one else has.
That's right. Nobody else has them. Yeah.
Great resource. Great resource.
Put in my, oh, look at those little lentils.
They're babies.
Teeny.
They're like little capers.
They are. That's why I call them caviar beans.
Put another email address in the chat, debtheguide@getsetup.io. It shouldn't be IOI, it just is IO. And I am inviting you to send in pictures of anything that you create out of any of these classes, as well as any recipes that you might want to share, especially right now, since Mother's Day is right around the corner. We are asking for recipes that Mom used to make, or favorite dishes that Mom used to make. But I'm also really liking the idea of seeing whatever your creations are from these classes. I just got one from somebody the other day who made an Irish stew and a bean soup that came from the recipes in my bean soup and chowder class. So anyway, would love to see what you have.
Deb, for some reason, I did not get the recipes for the healthy dessert class.
You did not. Okay, Martha, would you mind sending me a direct message in the chat? And I will send that to you, or make sure that actually I can just tell my support to send that to
Okay,
you.
so you want me to put my email in the
No, I don't think you have. Martha, what is your last name?
Caterino.
Okay, let me write that part down. Then we can find you in the system. So it's Martha, and spell that last one.
CATERINO.
CATERINO.
Right. And because I like desserts so much, I needed healthy ones.
Okay. I hear you. I'm happy to send that out to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you all for coming. I want to just say I hope that you'll be back for more. It's been a pleasure to be with you, and I'm glad you're part of the Get Set Up community.
Thank you.
We'll see
Thank you for all you do.
Bye-bye.
This was great. Thank you.
I'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.